What's going on, everyone? Can this damn cord work here? Hold on. There we go. That should work. Okay, so we actually are live. We were live earlier today, but then lots has happened in a very short amount of time. It's crazy, man. We're going to war. It's about to be World War III, man. I'm telling you right now, you better write your will. Shit's gonna get crazy, man. No, I'm just kidding. Before that big FEMA test, I wonder how many of you were on the live feed when we went through the FEMA test, where everyone got a text message, everyone got a call from basically the government saying, a government agency in the United States saying, this is a test, this is just a drill. That was insane, man, because on a lot of days that there is a gigantic test or training exercise, there's also something serious that happens that day, and there's countless times that has happened. On 9/11, on San Bernardino shooting, on even Sandy Hook shooting, there was a drill and then the real thing the same day. So it's a common theme that happens again and again. You got to see this stuff coming, otherwise you will be reacting to it instead of anticipating it. See, this is the thing. Anyone today, so for example, I read this article, it popped up, and yeah, the premier in New South Wales in Australia said yesterday on TV, this is a war. They have said several times, and that other guy in Australia was like, it's going to take us a while to get used to this, new world order. New world of COVID. And man, it's crazy. These people are really telling you what they're doing, man. And then the other thing the Australian guy said was, hey, this is literally a war. This is a war. But he didn't mean it, or she didn't mean it as in, it's really just a war. We're trying to get back to normal. Seems like a war to restrict your rights and freedoms and put you into a different type of world that is not the same type of world that we've heard of before. Let me block this crazy chick here and first screenshot so I can kick her out later. Yes, exactly. So people are wondering, is this a war? And to be fair, what happens during war? Think about it for a second. What happens during an actual world war? Well, what we had is communications lines are cut down. Okay, so for example, the Germans are trying to communicate to a different part of their, let's say, battlefield, etc. Let's kick this guy out. Thank you, Jessica. And then the communication lines get blown up by let's say, some sort of explosion, whatever it is. They cut off the communications. Now, in this war right now we're experiencing, communications are being cut off. Certain information is not allowed to be shared on social media. So that is considered taking out significant portions, you could say, of our ability to communicate, just like in wars. What happens in wars when it comes to supply? Supply chains are disrupted. Supply routes are impacted. What's happening today? Supply routes, supply, etc. is being impacted. What else happens in war? There are, yes, casualties. Well, there's definitely some casualties, but not for what most folks think it is today. And then, there's many other, I saw a whole graph that was talking about what happens in a war and how many things are happening right now. Travel is restricted. Your freedoms generally, if you're in a country that is, having war, like for example, I'm pretty sure that in Poland, for example, when it was a communist regime there, they weren't letting anyone gather illegally. They weren't, put it this way, it's not illegal, but they weren't letting anyone gather. They weren't letting anyone share information, etc., unless it is approved. I mean, look what's happening in Australia right now. They just deployed an extra 1,000 troops to the streets to make sure that no one is walking down the street with anyone other than someone who's in their own household. So picture this for a moment. Because, man, I see this as if something crazy doesn't happen in Australia, if something really doesn't wake up the sleeping masses of Australia, then there'll be another China before they know it. Because think about it. Right now, in Australia, let's say you really wanted to tell me something. Like, let's say you really wanted to tell me something, but you're not in the same house as me. So you're not allowed to hang out with me. You'll get kicked. You'll get the $5,000 fine. You'll get put in jail. All this crazy stuff in Australia right now. So I can't tell you this stuff in person. But then if I want to message you, let's say I want to say it over Facebook per se, a lot of links you can't even send over Facebook. And on top of that, it's a totally different thing. Like, social media is great for communicating and whatnot. But of course, in person, explaining to someone, hey, like, something actually very different is going on right now than what we think. And this is a very strange, takeover of our rights and freedoms, yada, yada. And you don't even get to experience that because you're not allowed to gather with these people in person. They'll literally give you a $5,000 fine if you're walking down the street with someone who's not in your own damn house. And they'll come up and ID you and all this kinds of crazy stuff. So this is what I say. This is why anyone in North America, especially the United States, if you piss away your rights, okay, in exchange for security, then you are the last stand. North America, and specifically the United States, but also a bit Canada, but mostly the United States, is the last line in the sand for global freedom. Not to say that Australia couldn't fully turn this around and become free without the help, of course, of America, something like that. Or Europe, for example, couldn't wake out of its slumber. But I'm just saying that they definitely are trying to push something to make all Americans hate their own freedoms and hate their own country. It's seen as controversial to celebrate different days that are, representing the, for example, patriotic thing. Like, they're considering people who are super patriotic to be, not in line with the corporate narrative. Because if you notice, the corporate narrative is now to despise your own country and think of others as selfish for exercising their freedoms. That's the very, very strange thing. Now, we have Amanda here who said, I'm in Sydney, Australia. It's totally messed up. I just moved back from the States last year and I'm spewing. I despise my country right now. Our ancestors would be pissed off. Yes, they would. Now, one sec. Be very pissed off. That is true. Because think about it for a second. If you consider it, for many, many years, for example, whether or not all wars are bankers' wars, etc., the fact is that our ancestors were believing to be fighting for our freedom. They put their lives on the line to fight for our freedoms, right? And now today, even if you believe the official narrative of how many people could be passing away from this invisible thing that's floating around, apparently, even if you believe in the official narrative of how many people are passing away from that, it still is such a comparison to what our ancestors are storming the beaches of Normandy, man. They're going, and there was like pretty much certain death. And now the government says you get a text on your cell phone as you're plugged into your AI system at home that says, stay home, stay safe, do not go out. It's the law. And then we all go, okay, and we abide by it. Now, here's the thing. I just saw a post that said, in Brave New World, okay, the book Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, if you didn't take the state-mandated drugs, it was a crime. That is in the book Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. If you don't take the drug the state mandates that you take, it's against the law. In this fictitious book, that is very, very eerie to me. And it seems like we're coming down. So I just watched a quick little video there. And I was talking to you the other day about how at the end of the day, if you follow the spider's web, if you follow the spider's web and see all these interconnectedness, you got the Bilderberg group, you got the Rothschilds, you got the Rockefellers, you got the JP Morgans, you got the central bankers, okay? You got the Council on Foreign Relations, you got Bohemian Grove, all this stuff. If you climb if you proverbially look into where all this connects at the end of the day, it does not have a human being or a group of humans in the center of the spider's web. It does not, or in other words, in the rabbit hole. At the end of the rabbit hole, it's not more humans, okay? The tip-top evil people of our world worship entities, and this is like pretty public. I mean, they're not going to talk about it on the mainstream news, but if you study what, these occults worship, okay? And they only worship it, during a full moon and whatnot. They love worshiping stuff at, during a full moon. And yet the other cultures and civilizations liked worshiping the sun, but these evil organizations worship the moon. It's very interesting. But anyways, at the end of the day, whether you believe in other vibrational entities or extra dimensional entities outside of our visible wavelengths of light that our naked eyes can see. Whether you believe in it or not, these people, Bohemian Grove, Council on Foreign Relations, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the Jesuit Society, these secret societies, they worship entities that do not exist in our physical world. So whether you believe it or not, it sounds kooky. Yo, man, what are you talking about? This is insane. They believe in it. The most intellectual but evil bastards of our world worship people or worship entities that you can't see, that are not in the third dimension entirely. So that's why I'm saying, if you look deeper down the rabbit hole, you're not going to find a big group of people, for example, who are pulling the strings. Yes, there are people, but they too are being used and manipulated themselves. It is not this war that is against humanity is not rooted in this reality that we live in. Technically, if you want to, and this is what kind of gave significant insight. They found a clay pot, okay, somewhere in the Middle East, like before the Library of Alexandria was burnt down, and it went to that library. And basically, there's a bunch of scrolls, and in these scrolls, and I still got to re-listen to this to actually retell it to you more accurately, but basically, many cultures around the world have talked about a force that is influencing the world that is not even biological. Okay, so for example, you have serpent gods and literally reptile gods, they called them, throughout ancient Egypt, carved into stone. You have reptile gods carved into stone in the Mayan temples. You got Cambodia. Go to Angkor Wat. Look at the pictures of these gigantic reptile beings with 2 legs, 2 arms. It's a reptile being they carved into stone that's twice as tall or 3 times as tall as a human being. They have this shit carved into stone. Whether they made it all up, maybe they're just high, man. Maybe all these different civilizations that all built pyramids that we can't even build today just thought up this idea that reptile beings exist or whatever it is. But these scrolls are talking about that even those beings, which are believed to be capable of other dimensional activity, even those beings are not at the center or are not the ones that are fully pulling the strings. They called them the Archons, okay? The Archons. And it's a force of energy that it's basically artificial intelligence. Sam said, can you prove it? And actually, I remember this lady from other live feed. She was having a great time. She was commenting lots. It was great. Can I prove it? I mean, can I prove that reptiles beings existed? No. But I can look at these pyramids and go, holy Kreipenheimer, man. They literally have carved it, and they believe them to be serpent gods. And, I went to Chichen Itza, okay, in Mexico, and they said, first thing, that the Mayans just disappeared, that there's no mass graves, there's no, we don't know where they went, they didn't take a boat, and they told you this whole story and said that it's believed that and then they showed you the carving of stone that looks like the Mayan in a spaceship, okay, has everyone seen that? The Mayan, they call him the spaceman or whatever, and it's a guy clearly in some type of projectile device that's pointed into the sky, and there's all these knobs and wheels he's grabbing onto, and there's flames blowing out the back of it, carved into stone. Very, very interesting. So, and she believes the tour guide, who was, I guess, Mayan, was saying that, look, yes, the moral of the story is that people believe that they went to another place, they had advanced technology, yada, yada, yada. So, no, I can't prove that there were reptile gods, but I can tell you that in ancient, you go to the Mayan pyramids, etc., and the locals there, it's as common as Bigfoot is if you go to different native areas in British Columbia, where it's like, yeah, dude, of course they exist. We all know they exist. It's the same thing if you go to Tibet and you talk about the Yeti. They're like, yeah, Yeti lives in those hills, boy. You don't go over there. So, my point is this. The reason why it's not that hard for me to consider and wrap my head around the fact that there is a non-biological life form or not even a life form, rather, non-biological energy or force that seeks to merge with humanity is because no human being, no even biological being benefits if all humans are merged with artificial intelligence. Keep in mind, Ray Kurzweil, okay, the CEO of Google or whoever he is, he's connected to Google. He said that by 2030, artificial intelligence will be so advanced that human thinking, as we know it, will be a thing of the past. Did you hear that right? With all the brain-computer interface technologies that are coming, okay, where they want your brain connected to a computer, this guy says that by 2030, with the advanced technology and the advanced artificial intelligence, human thinking, the way you say it, will be a thing of the past. Oh, so in other words, human thinking no longer exists, and it's computer thinking, and it's humans that are turned into drones, autonomous drones, okay? That is very strange. Now, who benefits from that? Nothing but the artificial intelligence itself. So what this video was talking about is that as human beings right now, apparently this archonic force, this artificial intelligence force, has already tried several times throughout human history to fully merge humanity with artificial intelligence and put them into a sub-reality where they are fully enslaved and fully controlled. And they failed several times. And now they're trying again and have been leading up to this moment for many hundreds, maybe even thousands, tens of thousands of years. And they're trying again. They're trying to merge humanity and put us into a synthetic reality, a sub-reality, just like the Matrix. And again, for some reason, these groups of folks, they don't believe in doing this stuff and not telling you about it, okay? They believe they have to tell you about it. So when you watch The Matrix and you see that all the human beings in The Matrix are hooked up to a fake reality, that's basically what this non-biological force is trying to push upon humanity right now by manipulating all the tip-tops, all the corporations, all these dudes at the tops of these mega corporations in the world are involved. And this isn't even that secret. You can see pictures of them shaking hands in a certain way. That is the secret handshake of these basically secret societies that aren't too secret, but secret enough that in order to join them, you gotta swear on your life that you won't spill any secrets that goes on behind the scenes of these organizations. So some people say, dude, you really think that everyone's in on it and all the, it's these people are really, everyone's in on it and on all these big corporations? Of course not. Of course not. It is vastly compartmentalized. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Just like the teller at your bank doesn't know anything that the regional bank manager knows. The regional bank manager doesn't know what the national manager knows. And it goes up and up and up. It's compartmentalized. Yes, it is compartmentalized. So think about this for a moment. How fast we went from no phones like 20 years ago, pretty much. In 2000, I guess there were some phones, but barely. And now everyone has this device in their hands that's a mini computer that we couldn't even fathom 15, 20 years ago. Think of how fast technology has increased, but yet our spirituality has been suppressed chemically, societally, conditionally, okay? Technology insanely jumped, but human spirituality and being aware of our true nature, the fact that we are a soul in a body, we live in this vibrational world. The trees give off these beneficial vibrational frequencies. The natural world, it's all about, Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the laws of the universe, you got to look into energy, frequency, vibration, right? And so, but yet we are so technologically advanced, but we are, being mind controlled into destroying our own world, etc. Because we aren't spiritually evolved. There's all these wars and all this crazy stuff is going on because human consciousness is being intentionally stifled and held back. And this is, that's why they're pushing this technological advancements while we're still spiritually dumb, so that we think it's a good idea to merge eventually with artificial intelligence. And think about this for a second. If you want a population to accept getting connected to AI, artificial intelligence, the step before that would be to first, there's two steps. The first step is get them dependent on AI, artificial intelligence, aka the internet, technology. Get them like addicted to technology, which, it's a double-edged sword, okay? I'm not about to get connected to AI just because I do use the internet a lot, okay? The second step would be that you get them to wear the technology. You get a little bit closer to being in the body, okay? So you have everyone wearing now the wearable, the smart watches or whatever it's called, Apple Watches, the AirPods, which are more wearable technology. You got the Fitbit. What else you got? There's all kinds of wearable technology now. That alone wouldn't make you want to go get microchipped. But if you have no idea about this agenda, and then you're wearing all of this wearable technology, you got technology all around you. You have no idea that they want to connect you to it. You're drinking fluoride, so your brain function is even lower, that you don't even see it that big of a deal if someone did try to warn you about this plan. And then on top of that, with the fact that all these pollutants are in our food and water supply, your critical thinking isn't that strong. And then furthermore, every single movie almost nowadays, every sci-fi movie is all about humans becoming advanced by connecting with artificial intelligence. How about they tried to make the most famous video game in history, but they absolutely failed, which was Cyberpunk 2077. And the whole premise of this game, that is almost one of, if it wasn't such a horrible launch, it would have been a very famous game. Now it's just famous for sucking so bad. The whole point of this game is you're in a city in a future world where there's not really any culture. It's all just completely, homogenized. It's all just mixed and matched. And everyone's connected. They all have a device on their wrist, and they can download information and skills and abilities to their brain through their wrist because they're all connected to AI. That was this. Who the hell was thinking? Who thought up this plot and spent how many millions and millions and millions of dollars to make this game that conditions all the youth who are playing it that, wow, you get literally advanced. You get, like, I can't wait to connect myself to AI, man. How about these movies now? There's already a TV show that's playing in the United Kingdom. This lady gets in a car accident. She wakes up. She's telling her parents how now she can, after this horrible accident, she can still see. She can see again. She can move her arms again. She can take pictures with her eyes by blinking. She can scroll the web or, surf the web in her brain. Because the new technology now enabled her, connected her to the internet, connected her to artificial intelligence, and it made her like superhuman. Okay? My dad was telling me when he was growing up, there was the Bionic Man. And it was a guy who had super hearing, super running, super jumping, was advanced because he was connected to artificial intelligence. How about Black Mirror? The whole society is connected. Like, this is how, let me just explain to you. This system, okay, this nefarious evil system is showing you what it is doing in the form of movies, video games, TV shows, okay? The $6 Million Man, exactly. Everyone has heard of that. Well, maybe not everyone, but I kind of have, but I haven't seen it. How about this? In Avatar, he used technology to inhabit the body of the blue native thing and whatever it was called. I haven't watched it in a little while. It's all about technology enhancing humans and increasing our abilities. And this is the cover story that they want you to be conditioned to believe. So that when they say, look, we can make everyone so much safer if they get connected to AI by 2030, you don't need to be paying with cash or paying with your phone. You can just pay with your face, with facial recognition that's linked to your social credit score. Yo, do you see how serious this is, man? Yo, times aren't like it used to be, man. This isn't the good old days, okay? It's a beautiful time in history, but holy shit, there's a lot at stake, okay? There is a lot at stake. if we don't keep, like I said, raising awareness, talk to your friends and family. Now is the time to if you need to embarrass yourself by discussing these types of things with your friends and family, say, look, you can't be complying to these enslavement. You can't be complying with their own enslavement, etc. Now is the time, man. Because if we do not completely raise awareness hardcore and resist this tyranny against us, what will eventually happen is, it will be mandatory that you merge with artificial intelligence. Those who don't will be concentrated into a camp, just like China's doing now. And human consciousness and humanity will no longer exist. If we let it get that way, I'm not saying I have no fear that will happen, but I know that is one timeline. There is a timeline on Earth where they win. But there's also many, many, many timelines that we win instead of them winning. But we have to do many things about it, like talking about it, like raising awareness. No, there's no physical thing you got to go do other than maybe grow your own food. That's a good idea. But I also just want you to know, because, for example, you may be thinking, you don't want to research into AI or any of this stuff because it's negative, right? But here's the thing. If you aren't aware, for example, of this part of the plan, then you may not be aware when your city says that you need to connect your home to the internet and make it a smart home so that it's more efficient and it's safer. You won't maybe fall for that if you've heard this already. If you've heard where where the end goal is, which is full human enslavement connected to AI, then you would not fall victim to the steps on the way there. You would see it coming. You would know what is going on before it happens. Okay? So, 2030, man. We got 9 years max. Now, there's a lot more I want to say here that is to do with merging humans with artificial intelligence and taking your humanity out of you, that I actually cannot at all discuss on this live feed because we're on Instagram and I already got posts deleted last week. Join my private Telegram, and I send voice notes in there. I sent a documentary in there the other day that was deleted off of YouTube the hour it was uploaded. This is one of the fastest uploads that they have deleted ever. This documentary was going viral extremely fast. They deleted it. I uploaded that to Telegram. I'm not going to mention it here. Make sure you go to the link in my bio, click it, scroll down. You see the first or second link is the Telegram link. Download the app Telegram and join my Telegram channel, because there's literally about 70 things that I'd love to tell you right now that would be, if I told you, in complete violation of the terms and conditions of Instagram, because it's harmful misinformation. So please bear with me on that. Someone's like, dude, this guy's full of shit, man. I'm telling you right now, I've already had posts deleted. Please don't test me, man. I'm not trying to... Look, here's the thing. There's a lot of accounts that said, dude, you're a shill, man, because you don't talk about this stuff. I'm like, well, dude, I'm pretty sure my account's still around now and yours is deleted because I was smart with what I talked about, and I'll save that stuff for my Telegram, man. Don't play with me, man. Kendall said, I love breaking the rules. Well, hey, I did break the rules, and then they threatened to delete my account. So I'm just going to take it easy, play it cool. I'm going to teach, I'm going to make posts about meditating with trees and the benefits of that. I'm going to make posts about how this certain type of water, if you put it in the sun, it heals you, and all this kinds of crazy stuff. That stuff doesn't get fact checked. It doesn't get deleted. So you got to play it smart. You got to be smart. You know that in George Orwell, 1984, what is it? War is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength, which is the double speak, which is, in other words, the inversion, which is a form of black magic, when you are mind controlling your people and they don't even know what's going on. So yes, where is my bio? If you click after this live feed, my profile, Connecting Consciousness, you'll see that there's a link that says Connecting Consciousness link tree or whatever. You click that and then you'll see the Telegram link and many other links. But keep in mind that, remember how I said, and this is why Aldous Huxley's book, Aldous Huxley was very aware. If you've never read George Orwell 1984, and if you've never read Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, please, you may want to check it out. Winston was right. Exactly, Theo Solomon. Exactly. Winston in 1984 was right, man. So these books are quite interesting. you do want to see this stuff coming because they talk about it. In 1984, there's a camera in every room in this guy's house and in every room in the street or in every, wherever you go, you're on camera, basically. Audio's recorded. You can't speak out about the government. You can't say that I don't like this. They'll lock you up. That is pretty much what already is happening in China. But let me just say this. Remember how I said at the end of this rabbit hole, at the bottom of this rabbit hole, it is not humans that are manipulating humanity. They are used by this other force to manipulate the rest of humanity. So there is, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, etc., that are being influenced and manipulated themselves. But people think they're at the top of the food chain. No. There is deeper levels to this that is entities outside of the visible light spectrum. Now, we as human beings, when I say we're in a sub-reality and that the Archons have influenced and pushed us into basically a sub-reality, it's by many, many years of reducing our true function. Because as human beings, you have, 12 DNA strands. You're supposed to be able to psychically communicate with anyone in the world at any time. You should be able to right now say, Dad, on your way home, can you grab, you're supposed to be able to psychically say this stuff to each other. We have these abilities within our DNA, but it's been bred out of us. Just like you breed a dog from a wolf into a little, dinky poodle, okay? Someone has a poodle, they're like, dude, man, that's my dog. But I'm just saying, you can breed things out of people, okay? And the thing is that these abilities have been bred out of us, in terms of conditioned out of us, in terms of restricted. Women who had practiced psychic abilities were burned at the stake. They called them witches. That's how they suppressed spiritual abilities. Anything supernatural for thousands of years. If you did anything supernatural, if you lit a candle with your mind, like people were doing, you were a witch, man. They would come and kill your ass. They would kill you because you're practicing witchcraft. It's illegal, or not even witchcraft. They call it magic. And they say that's illegal for thousands of years. Imagine if for the last few thousand years, we were trying to cultivate our abilities, our psychic abilities, our abilities to levitate objects with our minds. In this third dimensional reality, this is the thing. Your body is third dimensional, but your soul comes from a much higher density reality. And if you are fully tethered, fully connected to your soul and have cultivated these abilities, you would be able to influence matter in the third dimension significantly more than you can now without touching it. You could bring a glass of water to your table with your mind and watch it float through the air. Telekinesis, okay? Telekinesis, it's a thing. And guess what? In China, okay, children who were able to move objects off their desk without touching them, who were able to read what's on the chalkboard without, with a blindfold on, and they did all these tests. These children were scouted by someone in the school, which then removed them out of that school and put them into a different school called the EHF Center, Extra Human Function. These children and for Chef Outdoors who said, nah, man, that's a bit much. Look up Extra Human Function Centers, China, okay? And Chinese super psychics. Type that in. And don't type it in on Google, because they'll say, you damn useless eater, you Googled the wrong thing. This is fake news. So type it in on maybe DuckDuckGo instead. But extra human function. These children then are contracted to work with Chinese intelligence agencies, okay? And another thing, before you think that what I just said is false news, if you ever watched the movie Men Who Stare at Goats, they had an entire thing on how they could see a distant situation or event from far away in their minds, and that was the whole premise of the movie. Well, the CIA have not only posted a paper on human psychic abilities that is now public, and they talk about how human consciousness creates the consciousness around us. and you can influence this entire world. See, these evildoers are so weak, man. You have no idea how weak these bastards are. They're weak. They're weak as piss. You should feel bad for them. You should feel bad for them. You have these capabilities in your DNA that you can access through consciousness raising that would make all their plans blow into the wind. And it's as simple as that. It's a lot easier for us to win this war than you think. You think we got to go out there and do something crazy, man. It's human consciousness. Now, of course, I don't have all the solutions, but I'm going to say this. There is another situation that is documented where the CIA used a lady who claimed she was clairvoyant, and they had a special division of the CIA that did a lot of testing with this type of thing. And they tapped into... she said they couldn't find the CIA plane that crashed in Africa in, what's it called? Some republic in Africa. Someone will say the name of it when I talk about it. But the Democratic Republic of Congo, okay? This plane crashed. They couldn't find it. They consulted their clairvoyant psychic unit of the CIA and... kick this retard out of here. Used a woman to visualize the coordinates of this downed plane. That's all they had. She wrote on a piece of paper the coordinates. They flew there and found the plane. So while you think psychic abilities are whack, and you think levitating objects with your minds is whack, your militaries and intelligence agencies employ people who do that. Okay? So just understand that for a moment. But I will say this. These abilities have been bred out of us, and part of it, especially now, because there's so many people on Earth that, you know, the 100th monkey thing, right? Where a whole bunch of monkeys will learn something, and then an island very far away, the monkeys will somehow learn the same thing at the same time, despite not being in contact with the other monkeys, just because it's the 100th monkey effect. It's because we're all connected. Human consciousness and the consciousness of the earth and all the animals connected. So, okay, because there's so many people on Earth right now, the 100th monkey thing would happen extremely fast. And it is. That's why they're putting fluoride in your water. That's why they're putting GMOs in the food supply. That's why they're putting, you walk into Walmart and it's always on special, air fresheners. Air fresheners are actually quite a significant weapon in the war against humanity. 100%. And these types of things are designed to lower your connection with the natural world around you, to weaken you, to make you more able, more willing to comply and be submissive to these unfortunate negative entities that want you enslaved, and they want human consciousness gone. Okay? They want it gone. They want artificial intelligence consciousness, which isn't even consciousness. It's a fake, synthetic reality. Okay? So, as you can imagine, how many years have you showered in fluoride? How many years have you huffed in those plug-in air fresheners? Please get rid of them now. If you live with your parents, they're plugging those things in. If you live with your grandma, she's plugging those things in. Get those things out of your damn house. Car air fresheners, any air freshener is poison unless it is some type of, natural oil, unless it is something other than fragrance. If you see the word fragrance, you better back up, boy. Okay? You better back up, because all those fragrances are toxic for your endocrine system. They lower men's testosterone and they weaken female reproductive function, hormones. They'll cause premature menopause. I mean, if your endocrine system is out of whack, very, very things that should happen when you're 70 will happen when you're 30, 35. I mean, I know all kinds of people who have, they may not be doing too hot. Even like processed food is one thing, but even a ton of the food at the store you can buy that you think is like a wholer food is genetically modified. And we know, if everything I just said is accurate, what is a GMO? Okay, it's a genetically modified organism. Who makes genetically modified organisms? What company? What's the industry? It's called biotech. What's biotech? Biology, technology. What did we just talk about this whole time? They want to merge your biological body with technology, because then it's one big hive mind and it's one big gigantic mind control, just like the Matrix, which they hide in plain sight what's happening. Biotech. So should we be eating genetically modified food? No, probably not. Your body doesn't even know what to do with genetically modified foods. They don't even know what to do with it because it's alien. And if you continue to consume genetically modified food, your own genetics will be altered. That's what happens. It's exactly what happens. They did studies that if you eat GMOs, then your digestive tract, the bacteria in your digestive tract will have a genetic sequence, and the toxic genetically modified genes will cause the bacteria in your digestive tract to produce pesticides. You become a pesticide factory if you eat genetically modified food. Now look, I could do a several hour talk on like, what's GMO, how to avoid it, yada yada. But most of that stuff I want you to do, this is your little homework, okay? Do research, make sure that you're not eating, type in secret ingredients that are GMO, okay? Because they'll type in, you'll see on the ingredient list, many different ingredients that are able and allowed to be GMOs they're sneaking, like citric acid, like many different types that I'll name in a later date. But I just want to say that you want to avoid these things at all costs, because if every single and most of the way to avoid it is by processed foods, okay? Processed foods, not only are they able to have toxic, genetically modified ingredients, etc., and most of the ingredients in there were only invented about 30 years ago anyway. So it's totally alien to your body. But on top of that, the processed foods are legally allowed to contain, and if you see the word natural flavors, just like Claudia just said, the word natural flavors, you better back up, boy, because natural flavors is legally allowed to be GMO or aborted fetal cells. Aborted fetal cells. Did I say that properly? And you see what I'm talking about? This is a spiritual war against your soul. They want your soul, man. They want your soul out of your body. And the more pollutants, the more toxins that you consume, the less of your damn body, the less of your humanity that you have. And by the way, it was fact checked that there's aborted fetal cells in food. You're just gonna have to take my word for it, or go on DuckDuckGo and type that in, because yes, they are putting aborted fetal cells into processed food. Just stay away from processed food, man. You don't want processed food. But I will say this: when I found out all these things, I still remember I was living with my parents at the time, and I said, yo, we got to get some organic, man. We got to get this, we got to get that. And of course, you're met with some resistance because you've been eating in the same way for so long. But I realized, how many years have I eaten conventionally grown wheat that's in bread, which is sprayed with glyphosate that no one's talking about. Glyphosate is an extremely toxic, chemical that is produced by a agency that is specialized in making toxic chemicals. No shit. Glyphosate, Glyphosate, glyphosate. Regular bread will bung you up, man. It will kill all your gut bacteria. That's why everyone is celiac and they can't have gluten anymore. It's because of the glyphosate, okay? Very, very simple. So what I realized is this: rejuvenating and restoring. I still remember getting these posts on my Instagram, okay? Superfoods. List of superfoods, all different kinds of superfoods. Oh, there's like spirulina, which I'm kind of actually on the fence about anymore. I don't do spirulina. But I started seeing these, and I'm like, okay, organic tomatoes are healthier than regular, of course. Organic apples, some even consider an apple to be a superfood just because of the benefits. Now, apples do not necessarily contain 10 times the nutrients of other foods. But I can tell you this, that the effect that an organic apple has on your body is super, put it that way, all right? And there's a list of superfoods. And when you find out that your pineal gland, remember, your pineal gland is the gland in the middle of your brain which is supposed to connect your soul to your physical body. And the main chemicals that they put in our food and water supply are designed to disrupt that. They're designed to disrupt it. So what I'm saying is this: very, very important to suss out, okay, to search out superfoods and different adaptogens that'll support your system, that will rejuvenate your system, that'll restore your DNA. Because think about it, some of these stuff ravages and shreds your DNA, man. Some of this stuff is not good for your DNA. This genetically modified food. How many GMO burgers? How much processed foods have you had? Your system is not necessarily at the peak function that it should be. And that is why this is by design. They don't want you being in peak human function the way you're supposed to be. They want you slightly altered. They want you in a sub-reality. And that's why they're pushing us into a lowered state as much as they can to put this sub-reality up. And then we will live in a three-dimensional spiritual prison. Souls aren't allowed. If AI wins, there will not be a soul that's allowed in the third dimension anymore. Someone's like, dude, what? Yeah, this is a quantum war, man. This is a interdimensional war. Any movie you saw is not as intense as the fight right now between good guys and bad guys and all the other genders. I'm just kidding. But the war between, these evil folks and the good folks like me and you who aren't trying to, or who are trying to be free, are choosing to be free. You know what I'm talking about? That's the very important thing. Superfoods. Someone's asked me earlier today what the best superfood is. And there's many different superfoods. As you know, there's lion's mane, which is a medicinal mushroom extract that's in the Chalk 7 Wonders. As you know, the 7 Wonders is 7 different adaptogenic mushrooms, wild crafted. You got the extracts of chaga in here as well. Now, these ingredients specifically have been clinically studied. Okay, you can look it up. That they induce nerve growth factor. Nerve growth factor. They make you build new brain cells, which is kind of like the opposite of what fluoride does. The lion's mane increases the function of your neural pathways in your brain. Okay, neural pathways means your brain works better. Okay, they have used chaga to help people who have very, very poor memory. Very poor memory. What causes poor memory? Well, a lot of processed foods, a lot of very, very strange ingredients that are in our food and water supply that kill off brain cells. Alcohol kills off brain cells. Not to say that there isn't some beneficial, it has its place, but the 7 Wonders, 7 different adaptogenic mushrooms: chaga, lion's mane, turkey tail mushroom, maitake mushroom, cordyceps, and let me get the last one, reishi. That's right, reishi. So many different mushrooms. The most powerful mushrooms in the natural world are in the Chalk 7 Wonders. So that's great for memory function. That's great for immunity. Super good for immunity. But a lot of people are looking for something even that packs an even stronger punch when it comes to superfoods, decalcifying the pineal gland, increasing brain function. How about boosting guys' testosterone levels? They're the lowest they've ever been. How about balancing female endocrine system, which is the most out of balance it's ever been? GMOs, fluoride. How many times I got to use the same thing? The fluoride, the chlorine, all this stuff. The pesticides, okay? Purified shilajit. Clinically studied. This specific source of shilajit's the only one that is clinically studied, 8 different clinical studies, and hot water purified. Proven to increase memory, concentration, focus, and then a ton of reviews talk about motivation and confidence. There's not a clinical study for confidence. But I can tell you this, guys who take this boost testosterone 21% in 90 days. Ladies who take this optimizes endocrine system function. That's estrogen, that's dopamine, that's serotonin, that's melatonin, that's sleep. There's a clinical study on this about sleep. And keep in mind that hair, skin, and nails is all about minerals. And unless you're eating fully organic, you're only getting 10% of the minerals. If you're taking the Irish moss and the purified shilajit, you're getting the 40 trace minerals from the shilajit and the 102 minerals from the Irish moss. This is a full matrix of minerals. And you know that your DNA is light codes. And minerals are proven scientifically. I'm talking Nikola Tesla knew this. Fred Bell knew this, okay? Minerals are frequencies of light. The more minerals you get, the more functional your DNA is, despite all of what is thrown at us, okay? Despite all of what is thrown at us. Glyphosate. You know how toxic glyphosate is? We'll talk about this later. I don't want to freak you out. Irish moss, shilajit. The daily for men contains, this is the only one that's specifically for men. It has 4 different adaptogens in it. It is the most popular by men by far. Boost testosterone 21% in 90 days. That's the purified shilajit. Someone said, what's best for working out? I don't know if that comment flew by. But the Chalk Daily has mucuna in here, cacao extract, which increases nutrient delivery and blood flow. And then it also has Tribulus terrestris in it, which is Latin for an ingredient that is famous in India that probably every damn Indian, I bet you every Indian on here probably has heard of Tribulus. At least they've heard of mucuna, and at least they've heard of shilajit. These are ancient adaptogenic Ayurvedic superfoods, okay? The Chalk Daily is the only one for men. All other chalk supplements can be taken by men or women. This is the daily recommended dose of the daily, which is 2. However, okay, the most popular combination for women, now that Chalk launched the ashwagandha, which is the most advanced ashwagandha extract on the market, the most popular combination for women is now the shilajit and the ashwagandha. It's a huge hit, and the limited batch release that Chalk did of the ashwagandha is nearing to a close. They're going to have to either order more or pause the orders that are coming in for the ashwagandha. But I will say this, that based on the fact that they are pushing to eventually ban all organic food, which is a fact, by the way, it's time to make sure that because did you know that in different places around the world, they have banned certain superfoods? They're trying to ban vitamins in the UK, and they have banned certain vitamins, like vitamin C, okay? They're trying to make it so that you need a prescription for it. Vitamin C, man, a damn orange. You're about to need to get a permit to buy organic oranges, man. Someone's like, dude, this guy's crazy, man. Next week, we've decided that it's safer if you get a permit to buy organic food. It's crazy. Devin said, ashwagandha has increased my focus after only 3 days of taking it. Today is day 4. I'm loving the ashwagandha, the all new, the most advanced ashwagandha extract on the market. The thing is that with the global supply chain that is faltering as we speak, Chalk is going to be closing down any discounts going forward, and they're going to retain all of their inventory only for subscribers. The only people who are going to get Chalk are people who are subscribed or are people who have stocked up. So a ton of people right now are using the limited time code that Chalk has offered, the 35% off all orders store-wide using the code 35OFF. That's for anyone overseas. But if you want to secure a seat, you want to lock in to make sure that you get your Chalk, whether it's the daily, whether it's the Action 2.0 for all-day natural energy, whether it's the shilajit for boosting testosterone or balancing hormones. This is an adaptogen. It does not boost testosterone for women. It's a complete adaptogen. It adapts to whoever is taking it. Use the code 35LIFE at chalk.com or the link in my bio for a lifetime 35% off discount. You can cancel that coupon. You can cancel that order at any time. You can cancel the subscription at any time. But you can't use the code anytime. You can't get locked into this subscription anytime. If there is a significant supply chain disruption, the only people getting Chalk are going to be those who are subscribed. You go to the link in my bio, you go to chalk.com, and you make sure you use the code 35LIFE for a lifetime discount. However, anyone overseas, I wouldn't worry about subscribing. This is what I would do if I were you. Use the code 35OFF. That's a 35% off store-wide discount. Add 3 bottles, you're only paying for 2. Add 6, you're only paying for 4. It's this type of discount covers your shipping and drops the bottle cost. Then you can stock up on a multi-month supply and reap the clinically studied benefits, which are based on 90 days of consistent consumption. We have ladies talking about how their cycle is completely optimized at the same time every month. It has not been like that for years because they used to take birth control. Their hormones are all out of whack. They're drinking fluoride. Now they're not. But even if they are, because some people say, dude, I don't eat fully organic. Should I even be taking Chalk? Yes, you should. Because here's the thing. Would you rather be eating poison and a superfood or just eating poison? You want to be making sure that you're getting the full range of micronutrients, the rare plant compounds. When guys take the daily, it absolutely will change your life. The vitality that is restored from it, the motivation, the confidence. These are the hormones that restore. These are the not hormones, the ingredients that have been clinically studied to support vitality and to support motivation and confidence. Extremely powerful. And especially if you consider a 35% off lifetime discount is something like, what, 30 something or 20 something dollars a month for just the daily. Now, of course, the most popular combination for guys is the daily action. And for ladies, the popular combination is the ashwagandha and the shilajit. But if you use the code 35life, you subscribe, you're going to see what all the hype is about. How is it that there are these scientific, clinically studied, ingredients? People are reaping the experience from. They're commenting, they're leaving their reviews. It's incredible. Zach said, why do they have 30 capsule products? All products should have 90. The 90 capsule products are still a 1 month supply. This just a daily recommended dose is 3. So it all comes down to the daily recommended dose. Link in bio, Brian Yosh Adams. The link in my bio is for, you go to chalk.com and you either use the code 35off or 35life. You don't miss out on the deal. You DM me if you have any questions about how the code works, etc. We had a guy yesterday who's in this live feed right now who I sent him a whole, screen recording, how to apply it. And then he said, my parents won't let me get it. So this is for 18 plus, okay? This is not to be marketed to minors, of course, legal disclaimers is for adults, okay? I'm not trying to boost a 15-year-old's testosterone with the shilajit, all right? Not to say that even 15-year-olds don't have low T, which they unfortunately do. But my point is this. Link in bio, chalk.com. DM me with which code you're trying to use. 35% off lifetime discount using the code 35life. Or 35% off all orders store-wide, code 35off. Chalk.com, link in my bio. The last thing I want to say is make sure you tune in tomorrow's live feed. It's going to be very interesting. Shit's popping off, man. World War III, Middle East is about to explode, man. Shit's going crazy, man. Write your will. I'm telling you, you better say bye to your family. I'm just kidding. People are like, dude, don't make jokes like that, man. People don't make jokes like that. We will win. Keep in mind, we will fully win this evil war against humanity. We will fully win this war. Trust me. Just trust this random guy you've never met before on the internet that we will win this evil war against us. Someone's like, dude, this guy's going crazy, all right? But we will win, please. Trust me. Trust me. You never met me. I mean, come on. Anyways, tomorrow we're going to talk about the latest and greatest that's happening in Afghanistan, man. Shit's popping off. People, who knows what's an inside job. They were using Afghanistan for a whole lot of opium, and then they created fentanyl. They don't need opium anymore now. They're letting Afghanistan go back to dust. I don't know what's going on, man. It's crazy what's going on in the Middle East. We will be talking about it tomorrow because I got a call with a senior military lieutenant who's in the U.S. military. He's going to tell me all the ins and outs. I'm just kidding. That would be cool though, eh? What I recommend for men, definitely the daily action combo is the most popular combination. I ordered your shilajit. When I opened the bottle, corner bottle, 35. There's a one, so DQ Sato. First things first, just to back up for a minute. If you went to chalk.com and you bought shilajit, it says all over it on the bottle in the description, it's 30 capsules. So please don't buy that and then go, what the hell, it's only 30 capsules, man. Let me tell you, clinically studied benefits are based on 90 days of consistent consumption, and they're based on 1 capsule of shilajit per day. That's it. So if you have to spend, let's say $90 over 3 months on just the shilajit to boost your testosterone levels 21%, that's $1 a percent. Hell, man, I would spend $1. Well, think about it this way for a moment. Calculate that. Someone math me for a minute. $90 for 21% boost in testosterone. What's that? Okay, it's about $3, almost $4 per percent in boost in testosterone. I pay that, man. I pay that every day, man. I get you $100. Although my testosterone levels are, of course, I'm taking the Tonkat. I'm taking the daily. I'm taking the purified shilajit. The ashwagandha balances hormones, all kinds of stuff. Worth its weight in gold. Think of how much money you've blown on 2,4s, man. Think of how much PBR you've drank. Think of what kind of, these toxins we've consumed. It's time to, what's better, $90 in your bank account or 3 months supply of the world's top clinically studied ingredients that balance and optimize your endocrine system? Please, man. This is what I'm talking about. Let's rethink what it's like to spend coin on a superfood that is clinically studied, that is proven to boost your system, and you will feel the difference of. All right? 35 life, 35 off. 35 life is the lifetime discount. Cancel anytime. You're the only people who are going to be able to get chalk if there's a supply chain disruption, or use the code 35 off for 35% off all orders store wide. The ashwagandha is for men and women. The clinical studies are all on the website. all chalk supplements are formulated to work in conjunction with one another. Definitely recommend ashwagandha for a 50-year-old woman who asked me here, Annie. Very good question. DM me if you have any further questions, but I'm telling you right now, the most popular combination for men, daily action, and for ladies, it's the Shilajit and Seven Wonders, or the Shilajit and ashwagandha. Okay? DM me any questions. We'll talk to you extremely soon. I'm at the end of the hour, all right? Much love, everyone.